You watch your phone light up, but the room feels emptier than ever. The glow paints your face in a soft blue, while the chatter around you blurs into distant noise. Everyone's here, yet you're tucked behind that small screen, scrolling without really seeing. The kind of loneliness that sneaks in this way, it's different. It's not the absence of people. So why do you still feel lonely, even when you're surrounded by them? You lean back. The buzz of a message does nothing to fill the space inside. The question lingers as the night grows quiet. The distance in a crowd. Why do you feel lonely even when you're surrounded by people? You're at a party. The room buzzes with chatter and laughter, but you stand slightly apart, tucked against the wall. Your eyes don't settle on anyone. They drift across the clusters of conversation, past the bright faces, somewhere beyond the noise. You watch, but you're watching through glass, thick, invisible. The laughter feels distant, like it belongs to someone else's night. You smile when someone throws a joke your way, but it's slow to reach your lips. Your mind's already moved on. The people around you are close, so close you could reach out and touch them. They're real and warm. Yet, something holds you back. There's a gap, a quiet space that won't close. You're there, but not there. The party is alive, but you're not part of the life inside it. It's a strange thing. Being near someone doesn't mean you're connected. Proximity isn't connection. You can fill a room with bodies, but still feel empty. You can laugh with a group and still feel silent inside. The noise around you doesn't fill the silence you carry. Imagine that a phone screen lights up in a dark room. It's close, but it doesn't warm. It doesn't reach behind the glass. The glow is soft, but hollow. That's how being surrounded by people can feel. So, why do you still feel lonely? What's in the space between the laughs and the voices? It's the mind's filter, the way you see, hold, and shape your world. That filter decides what feels close and what stays distant. There's more to this, something beneath the surface, waiting. But that's for later. For now, hold on to the question. The mind's filter. But think about this. You're back in your room, the door closed, the low glow of your phone screen cutting through the dark. You scroll, almost by habit, back to a message you got earlier. It's just one word, really. A quick reply to a question you asked during dinner. But suddenly, it doesn't feel so quick. It feels clipped, maybe even sharp, like a slight you weren't meant to catch. But you did anyway. You find yourself replaying it over and over, turning it around in your mind like a stone in your pocket. Why does that word sting? Because it's not just the word, is it? It's the echo of all the times you've been overlooked before. The times your feelings were brushed aside, or you were left out without a word. Your brain drags those old hurts into the light, paints over the moment with a darker shade. What was said now, filtered through what you felt before, becomes something heavier. Your feelings in the moment aren't yours alone. They're tangled with the past, tangled with expectations you didn't even know you had. That's why being in a room full of people doesn't always stop the loneliness. Even when they're here, your mind keeps reaching back, mixing old shadows with new faces. This isn't about others failing you right now. It's about how your mind holds on to what's happened before. So, when you ask yourself why you feel lonely, even when you're surrounded, you're also asking why your mind can't let go. That's the distance in a crowd, and it's just the beginning of the story. The illusion of togetherness. You're sitting in a dim living room, the TV glow flickering across the quiet faces around you. It's one of those nights, the kind where everyone's together, but no one's really talking. The movie plays, but it's not what holds your attention. Instead, you catch yourself watching the spaces between words, the pauses that stretch longer than they should, the way each person seems trapped inside their own head. You laugh at a joke that fell flat. They laugh too, but something feels off, like you're all just filling the silence. This is what it means to share a space without sharing a moment. Side by side, yet miles away. You're with friends, but your thoughts drift to that nagging question. Why do you feel lonely, even when you're surrounded by people? The room is full of bodies, but your mind feels like a closed door. Sometimes, being together means pretending the silence isn't there. You lean back, eyes flicker to a phone screen lighting up in the dark corner, a quiet signal of another kind of connection. Or maybe just another escape. It's easier to look away than to face the quiet between you and them. Here, the illusion of togetherness feels safe enough to keep the loneliness at bay. But it's still loneliness. Because being side by side doesn't mean being present. You might think the problem is them or the moment, but it's more inside you than out there. It's the way you hold on to the mask, the way you settle for closeness that doesn't reach you. And that's why the next step is the hardest, leaning into the risk of being seen, of dropping the mask. But that's for later. For now, you sit, quiet in the dark, watching the spaces you don't fill. The risk of vulnerability. You're sitting with them, in a small circle, laughter spilling around like light, warm and easy. But then you want to say something real, something true. It's on the tip of your tongue, but it sticks there, swallowed. So you hold back. You let your face curve into a polite smile, safe behind a wall you built without noticing. You wonder if they'd really want to hear the parts you keep locked away. The messy, the scared, the unsure. What if it changes everything? What if they pull away? So you don't say it. You don't risk it. You tell yourself it's safer this way, that keeping quiet keeps the peace. But maybe it's the other way around. Loneliness doesn't live in the silence. It hides where you don't dare speak at all, where you wear your mask so well that even you forget what's underneath. Real connection asks for the parts you usually hide, the parts you wish you could erase. But those parts are the ones that hold the key. Think about why you feel lonely, even when you're surrounded by people. It's not because they aren't there. It's because you're not really there, not fully, not showing up with the full, messy you. So the space between you grows, even as you sit side by side. You remember the last time you tried. The words caught. Your throat closed, so you smiled instead. That's the risk. And that's why you keep holding back. Because to show yourself is to stand on a ledge, looking out at a chasm. But maybe the fall isn't as far as you think. Tonight, when the phone screen lights up in the dark room, it's a quiet reminder of something waiting, something real. The next step maybe, the one after that. The phone screen's glow. Now, you reach for your phone again. It's late, the house is quiet, except for the hum of the charger plugged in on the counter. The screen's glow cuts through the dark, like a small, artificial window. Your thumb scrolls through the list of chats, each one a string of messages exchanged earlier. But none of the words land the way you want them to. They skim the surface, empty of the warmth you're craving. Think about how the texts blur together. Hey, how are you? Not much, you? Same old. Nothing anchors you. You keep scrolling, hoping for a sudden message, a ping that means someone's thinking about you. But it doesn't come. And even when it does, the words feel distant, like echoes from a room you can't enter. The silence between texts grows louder. This digital noise, it's supposed to fill the space, to connect you. But it often does the opposite. Instead of bridging the gap, it throws shadows on the wall. The more you try to reach out through the screen, the wider the gap feels. You're surrounded by people, yet the phone keeps reminding you that they're just pixels and text, not flesh and voice. The warmth you want lies beyond the glass. The glow of the screen in your dark room is a quiet witness. It shows you reaching for connection, but finding only an echo. Why does that leave you feeling lonelier? Because the phone isn't a door, it's a mirror. It reflects your hope. And so you sit with it, alone. Not because you're physically isolated, but because you're choosing this loneliness too. Choosing loneliness. You see the message pop up. An invite to a get-together, a chance to be with people. It's late. Your room is quiet. The only light, that soft glow from your phone screen resting on the nightstand. You stare at it, thumb hovering, then pull away. No, not tonight. You tap the screen off and settle back against the pillows. The silence wraps around you like a familiar coat, heavy but safe. Why do you turn down the noise? The chatter, the laughter you once craved? It's not just about being tired or overwhelmed. Sometimes, loneliness feels like a choice, like a shield. Think about that. Holding on to loneliness, even when company's close. It's a strange kind of comfort, a way to keep the chaos out, to hold on to something solid in a world that spins too fast. You sit there, thoughts swirling, but somehow more grounded than you would be amidst the crowd. You're not failing to connect. You're protecting a part of yourself, holding on to quiet before stepping back out again. Loneliness isn't always a sign of loss. Sometimes it's refuge, a space you claim for yourself, a pause that lets you breathe. That phone screen's glow fades, swallowed by the dark. And in that stillness, you begin to understand what it means to choose to be alone. The quiet invitation waits, not from others, but from within. Why do you feel lonely, even when you're surrounded by people? Maybe because sometimes you need to be alone. The quiet invitation. But maybe loneliness isn't the enemy you think it is. You sit still with it. No scrolling, no quick fix, just the feeling itself, filling the quiet room. It presses in, but you don't push it away. You breathe, slow and steady. Picture this, a door in the back of your mind, just a crack open. Not wide enough to step through, but enough to let a sliver of light in. It's faint, but real. That's something. A sign that you're not shut off completely. This feeling, sharp and hollow as it is, isn't a sentence. It's a signal. Why do you feel lonely, even when you're surrounded by people? Because sometimes, it's not the crowd that's missing. It's the stillness to meet yourself. When you don't rush to fill the space, you might find a small shift inside. A moment where you can hear what's quiet beneath the noise. Loneliness can lead you home. Home to parts you've ignored or forgotten. Not to fix or change, but to be with. The phone screen lighting up won't fill that space. It only distracts from the door that's already open. There's no need to run from the ache or mask it with chatter. It's an invitation. You don't have to be brave or strong in the usual way. Just willing to be present. To sit with the loneliness long enough to see it differently. So, instead of something to escape, think of it as a quiet door swinging open. Maybe, just maybe, that's where connection begins. You watch your phone light up, but the room feels emptier than ever. That's the catch. Loneliness isn't about the number of people around. It's about the distance between what you want to feel and what's actually there. You don't have to fix the loneliness by filling the room. Sometimes it's about sitting with it, letting it ask its questions, and letting yourself answer. Maybe tonight, when you're alone again? You'll try that. Not to chase the noise, but to listen to the quiet instead.